Page 41, Chapter 4, Aryan Rituals. Animal Sacrifice. The earliest texts belonging to the eastern branch of the Indo-European language attest to the prevalence of the post-cremation burial, the fire cult, the cult of Soma, and animal sacrifice, including horse sacrifice. The Vedic and the Avestan people are distinguished by their rituals. We have to examine whether the rituals were typical of the people who settled down in Iran and India, and whether such rituals are found elsewhere. Para. It seems clear that animal sacrifice appears not only in India and Iran, but also in Greece and Rome. It is found in some other ancient Indo-European communities as well. Footnote 1, for which linguistic evidence has been adduced. Footnote 2. Cattle sacrifice is found commonly in Vedic texts and in the Avesta. Footnote 3. This sacrifice also appears in Homer, but that of sheep is more important. Footnote 4. Animal sacrifice may have been more important in the initial stage of stock breeding. So long as the cattle rearers do not use dairy products and employ animals in agriculture and transport, page 42, they continue to eat the meat of their domesticates. Some tribal people do not consume milk on account of curious belief. According to the Gonds of central India and the Deccan, for instance, milk is meant only for calves and not for anybody else. Some tribals drink the blood of cattle but not the milk. Thus, in earliest times, the cattle rearers offered meat to their gods and in return asked for cattle wealth, so that their practice of sacrificing cattle and eating meat might continue. Footnote 5. Para. According to Lincoln, the religious rituals of the Indo-European stock breeders are similar to those found in the cattle-rearing society of Eastern Africa. The cattle sacrifice of the Vedic period, called Pashubandha, Pasubandha, Pashubandha, had certain traits which can be traced in the steppe of Eastern Europe. The practice of animal sacrifice appears in South Russia and the Ukraine in the Sredny Stog culture. Capital Sredny, Sredny, capital Stog, Stog, Sredny Stog culture, within brackets 4500 to 3500 BC. At a place called Derevika, capital Derevika, Derevika, the head of a stallion together with the left foot bones of a horse, the remains of 2 dogs, and a figurine in the shape of a wild boar indicate evidence of rituals. Footnote 6. At another place in the lower part of the Dnieper River basin, we notice remains of cattle and horse belonging to 4000 to 3500 BC. Beneath the kurgan, Kurjan, kurgan, or burial place in a circular area,
bones of animals, potsherds, and traces of ochre are found.
Footnote 7. Such kurgan burials have been discovered in a large area lying north of the Black and Caspian Sea. Page 43. The burials reveal that bones of horse, cattle, sheep, dog, etc. were offered to the dead in the form of food. Frequently, The skull and the forelegs of a sheep were offered. Footnote 8. Para. The practice of animal sacrifice was common in ancient Iran. The Avesta often mentions the sacrifice of 100 horses, 1,000 oxen, and 10,000 sheep or goats. Footnote 9. It also mentions promises made for the sacrifice of 1,000 horses, 1,000 camels, 1,000 oxen, and 1,000 young ones of all species of small cattle. Footnote 10.
It has to be noted that
there is provision for the sacrifice of cattle, horse, sheep, and even pigs in the Vedic literature. The Shatapatha Brahmana contains all these instances. The same text also lists certain categories of human beings and animals considered unfit for sacrifice. This list includes impotent persons, Gora, G-A-U-R-A, Gora, within brackets a kind of buffalo, Aranya, A-R-A-N-Y-A, Aranya, within brackets wild animal, Ustra, U-S-T-R-A, Ustra, within brackets camel, and Sarabha, S-A-R-A-B-H-A, Sarabha, within brackets elephant. Footnote 11. It is evident that the people who lived in Eurasia were not familiar with the buffalo and the elephant. Therefore, the remains of these animals are not found in the burials of South Russia and the Ukraine. In the Indian subcontinent, buffalo sacrifice started in subsequent times, but there is no provision for it in Vedic texts. It seems that the animal sacrifice of Vedic times was similar to that prevalent in South Russia and the Ukraine, where it appears around 4500 BC. Page 44. S. R. Rao, excavator of Lothal, states that animal sacrifice prevailed in Lothal, but there is really no evidence to prove this. What have been found in Lothal are some burnt pieces of the body of a bovine animal. Footnote 12. The find indicates the practice of eating meat and not the performance of animal sacrifice. Para. The horse sacrifice. The Indo-Europeans also adopted the use of the horse, but perhaps none of them performed the horse sacrifice which was known as Ashwamedha in India. In Vedic times, the king or the chief performed the Ashwamedha to assert his suzerainty. S-U-Z-E-R-A-I-N-T-Y, suzerainty. A horse was set free and the territory traversed uninterrupted by it, and the warriors of the chief king was considered to have fallen under the sway of the royal sacrificer. On its return, the horse was sacrificed and its body dismembered. The king's favorite wife had to lie down with the dead horse and cohabit with it under covers. Footnote 13. Homer does not mention any horse sacrifice ceremony, though he indicates that horses were sacrificed to the dead. Footnote 14. In the Indo-European community of Rome, the horse was sacrificed in October, and the ritual was called the October Equus, capital E-Q-U-U-S, Equus. After a horse race, the team horse on the right was killed with a spear and then dismembered. Footnote 15. We also hear of a mare being sacrificed and dismembered on the occasion of the enthronement of a tribal king in medieval Ireland. Footnote 16.
Page 45.
Para. Louis Renaud holds that the Ashwamedha or horse sacrifice was an Indo-European ritual. Footnote 17. Clearly, there is no evidence of the horse sacrifice in pre-Vedic India. The earliest example of horse sacrifice is found in 4500 to 3500 BC in South Russia and South Ukraine, but the horse was offered to the dead along with cattle, sheep, goat, and dog. Footnote 18. However, the offering of the horse seems to be important in some burials. In the burial of Gerasimovka, capital Gerasimovka, Gerasimovka 1, I repeat, Gerasimovka 1, ritual remains of the horse have been found alone or together with either cattle or sheep. Footnote 19. A sacred place exposed in Sezee, capital Sezee, Sezee, situated in the middle Volga
forest steppe,
contains remains of 2 horses. Footnote 20. In the cemetery of Sintashta, capital Sintashta, Sintashta, in the 16th century, that BC, 7 horses were sacrificed in only one grave. Footnote 21. Horses, however, may have been buried along with the dead to provide them with either food or transport in the next world. Archaeological instances do not indicate horse sacrifice during the lifetime of human beings. This may be due to lack of settlement excavation. It is argued, nevertheless, that the sacrifice which was performed by a person may also have been projected into a ritual by the community on the death of that person. But there is no doubt that the horse was sacrificed either independently or together with other animals in the area between the Black and Caspian Sea. Page 46. This practice was perhaps transformed in Vedic times into the Ashwamedha, which is described elaborately in later Vedic texts. The same practice may have been turned into the October Equus in Rome. Para. The fire altar. The cult of fire is the most significant cult in the Avesta. But although Agni is an important god in the Rig Veda, burning fire was not independently worshipped in Vedic times. Fire was treated in Vedic times as an intermediary who carried the libations offered to him to the gods. Though the fire altar is not clearly mentioned in the Rig Veda, it is discussed in great detail in later Vedic texts. Fire was worshipped in the fire altar, which also served as an oven or chula in which food was prepared for the gods. It cannot be asserted that the fire altar was typical of the Harappan people. Fire altars have not been found in the main sites of Harappan and Mohenjo-daro. However, there is mention of one from Amri in Baluchistan, footnote 22. While its identity is questioned, its date has yet to be determined. Several round and rectangular structures in Lothal have been termed fire altars by Rao, but Rao rightly suspects that these might be treated as ovens. Hence he argues, page 47, that they are large in size and have no openings for supplying fuel, footnote 24. However, except for 2 structures which are 70 square feet each, all the others are very small. Generally, the circumference of the round structure is 1 foot 6 inches, while the rectangular structure is 1.5 square feet. Footnote 25. In the illustrations given by Rao, all 3 fire altars appear along the side of the wall. Footnote 26. It may be noted that neither is there any provision for erecting altars beside the wall, nor does such a practice prevail. Again, it is laid down that the Ahavanya, Ahavaniya, Ahavanya, or the sacrificial fire, should be separated from the Garhapatya, 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 or the household fire, by a distance of 8 prakramas, 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 footnote 27, which indicates a length of about 15 feet. Footnote 28. Most structures from Lothal do not fit this rule, and therefore cannot be regarded as fire altars. It is possible that they worked as communal ovens in which fuel was supplied from above. The function of the large-sized structure is not clear. It may have served as a fireplace. The excavator assigns the earliest evidence of a fire altar to Lothal 2a, footnote 29. The radiocarbon date of this is 1555 plus minus 135 BC, footnote 30. Since most structures can be dated to around 1500 BC, even if they are considered fire altars, the influence of Vedic contacts cannot be ruled out. 7 structures found in Kalibangan, Kali, Kali, Bangan, Bangan, Kalibangan, are called fire altars because of more suitable term is not available.
Footnote 31.
The shapes of these altars are not clearly indicated. Page 48. It is significant that all of them lie beside the burnt brick wall. Footnote 32. But the ritualistic texts do not prove for such a location of fire altars. Within brackets, city, C-I-T-I, Agnyadhana, A-G-N-Y-A-D-H-A-N-A, Agnyadhana. Therefore, these structures cannot be called fire altars. Even their excavator, B.B. Lal, does not express this opinion clearly. Further, they seem to have appeared towards the end of the Harappan settlement, footnote 33, in Kalibangan around 1650 BC, footnote 34, and their presence is also attributed to Vedic contacts, footnote 35. Whatever their origin, the fire altars found in Lothal and Kalibangan are looked upon with suspicion. Footnote 36. A few elements of Vedic culture are found outside the Indian subcontinent, but fire altars of the Vedic type are not known outside this region. Hearths are found in the Kurgan burials of the Ukraine, 4000 to 3500 BC. They are noticeable not only on the kurgans but also next to the burials. Footnote 37. 2 hearths found in Tulkar Tepe, Tulkhar, Tulkar, Tepa, Tepe, in South Tajikistan date to the middle of the 2nd millennium BC. Round ovens found in the graves of women have been called Grihapatya, and rectangular hearths found with men are called Ahavanya. Footnote 38. The Sattapatha Brahmana provides that the Samsana, S-M-A-S-A-N-A, Smasana, within brackets tumults, of the constructors of the fire altars should be rectangular. Footnote 39. But no fire altar is to be located in the tumults. It seems that the Vedic fire altars were associated with the sacrificer during his lifetime. The hearths found in the graves certainly carried ritualistic significance, but they cannot be compared with Vedic altars. Page 49. They may have been served as fireplaces in colder seasons, or may have been provided in the graves for cooking. As is well known, all worldly comforts were provided in the pyramids of Egypt. Besides provision made for eating, sleeping, and hunting, even toilets were provided. However, altars or fireplaces are not set up in the pyramids. Such a provision seems to be a special feature of the horse-using people of Eurasia. Para. Importantly, though, certainly fireplaces found in Turkmenia exist independently of burials. At Togolok 21, capital T-O-G-O-L-O-K, Togolok 21, there is clear indication of a fire cult in a temple, and the fire altars of this place are dated to around 1800 BC. Footnote 40. 2 altars have been dug on the campus of a fire temple. The small altar is dedicated to the fire god, and the large one is meant for receiving libations. Both these structures are situated outside the central area of the citadel. Footnote 41. Fireplaces of the Iron Age, within brackets 1200 BC, have been found at Ferghana, capital F-E-R-G-H-A-N-A, Ferghana in Uzbekistan. Square and round fireplaces with pits have also been found in ancient Sogdiana, capital S-O-G-D-I-A-N-A, Sogdiana. Footnote 42. In the Indian subcontinent, fireplaces have been reported from levels dating to 1500 BC or earlier. Those found in the Kachi plains of Baluchistan from 1800 to 1100 BC are square. Page 50. Cooking vessels were placed on them with the help of the fire dogs. Similar fire dogs have been found in the fireplaces of the beginning of the Iron Age in Ferghana. Footnote 43. Fireplaces are reported also from Punjab and Haryana around 1000 BC or a little earlier, and this is the time when they also appear in Turkmenia and South Central Asia. Para. 3 domestic ovens have been found in the black and red ware stratum of Atranjikera, just before the PGW layer. One of these appears to be a sacrificial pit, and the excavator places it between 1450 and 1200 BC. Footnote 44. But it seems to belong to 1000 BC or to a later date, as the radiocarbon date for the pre-PGW black and red ware phase of Atranjikera is not earlier than 875 BC. Footnote 45. Paragraph. More importantly, pits suggesting 5 altars have been found in the overlapping layers of the late Harappan and the PGW cultures at Nagara in Jalandhar district and Daderi in Ludhiana district. Footnote 46. Nagara has 2 round structures of burnt brick which are considered probably, within inverted commas, religious. Footnote 47. 3 round structures are also found in Dadheri and are similarly called, within inverted commas, probably religious. Footnote 48. Much later, such structures are found in Mathura. These are dated to 300th century BC, and in Kosambi they are dated to around 200 BC. But the pits found in Baluchistan, Punjab, western Uttar Pradesh, and outside the subcontinent can be associated with the new people who seem to have spread the fire cult and the fire altar.